If smashing zombies was an Olympic sport, Dead Island 2 would get the gold. The number of ways you can destroy the anatomy is outright insane, and the result is something every gamer should experience. Couple that with a large variety of weapons and modifications, skills that give you enhanced abilities, and a versatile range of different attacks, make this some of the most fun I've ever had in any zombie game, period. The story is typical fare. There's a massive outbreak, LA's in quarantine, you're infected but seem immune. You search for answers and hope to escape before it's too late. The zombie horde stands in your way, and things aren't exactly what they seem. That's just about every zombie game in a nutshell, but at this rate, it's par for the course more than a reinvention of the wheel. And for most zombie fans, that's exactly what we expect. You can pick one of 6 slayers, each with different strengths and weaknesses, mostly driven by stats, but also with innate skills which are like personal buffs. The story overall is decent. You will not really be invested heavily in anyone, and no one character breaks the archetype mold, or will trigger an emotional response. Mostly due to the game not taking itself too seriously and having fun with itself.
You don't know shit. Out there, you gotta be a mechanic, medic. Jackie fucking Chan rolled into one.
Which I think is a major plus. I played as Jacob, and he is a smooth talking British bloke who I thoroughly enjoyed listening to. His lines are often funny and lighthearted, as he never seems to be trying too hard, as his delivery is so natural. Now, the core of the game is going to be the combat, and I'm so happy to say that it is amongst the best I've played in the first-person melee genre. If you've played Dying Light 1 or 2, then you undoubtedly will feel right at home here, as it's obvious the DNA is in the bones, as the original Dead Island and Dying Light series was developed by Techland. I myself am a huge Dying Light fan and have played approximately 500 hours between the two games, so I felt very comfortable right away and the learning curve was super short. So for any Dying Light players, you'll be at home here. The game gives you almost an unlimited amount of ways to dispatch your enemies, burn them, dissolve them with acid, electrocution, bloodletting, and more. The bodies react to every blow in what is probably the most comprehensive body destruction in a game to date. It's not just dismemberment. You can see the clothing tear with the skin exactly where you slash. The meat separates, bones protrude, guts fall, blood gushes, and it is so visceral that you just want to keep mauling in a glorious combo of death. I couldn't wait to jump into the next batch of zombies and just go ham, as the combat loop is so damn satisfying. Your melee weapons range from knives and swords to brass knuckles and spears. All have pros and cons and vary with playstyle and preference. If you want to go fast and bob and weave striking quickly before evading, you can. And if you want to just be a slow swinging powerhouse, then you can do that too. Weapons can be enhanced with modifications to give any number of elemental effects. You can also increase raw damage, or specifically enhance it to sever limbs quicker or for more critical hits. I was impressed by the variety of ways to deal death and never felt pigeonholed into a specific weapon category or enhancement. They all have their place and you will need some variety due to different types of enemies being immune to certain elements. At the end of the day, the word is options. You also have access to guns in Dead Island 2 and they are fun and often great in a quick pinch. I felt that they controlled appropriately and were pretty accurate. Although I must say, the shotgun is so disappointing and I think it's in desperate need of a rework. A shotgun in a zombie game should make you a kid in a candy store, but it feels more like waiting in line to get a new driver's license instead, which sucks. I never got the satisfying pop of the head or pop of the limbs or body. It almost seems as if you're throwing a bunch of small rocks at enemies, especially how they impact. I need that Resident Evil 4 remake shotgun. But I digress. You also have access to curveballs, which range from pipe bombs to shuriken. They don't need materials to be created and simply run off of a cooldown timer. You can have 2 equipped at any time and they really just add to your arsenal and have little to no real impact of changing any of the combat. It's the skill card system that is essentially where the variety of combat will come from, as this acts as a talent tree of kinds. You can pick a variety of cards that you unlock and it'll change how you fight by buffing or debuffing, and at times giving you completely new moves. You can have dodges regain health or stamina or have attack speed increase. It's just another layer to give the player options, although very few have any major impact or make you an entirely different slayer, which I think is kind of a missed opportunity. If you love the Dying Light formula of combat, then I believe you'll love Dead Island 2's combat as well. It can at times feel like a piñata simulator, but I love piñatas, and if you do too, then you will definitely scratch that itch here. The environments are well done and look great, and I was surprised at points due to some set pieces being quite atmospheric. Most of the time, you are inundated with saturated colors and bright visuals, but when it needs to, it will take you to horrific and haunting places and make you take notice. The entirety of the game mostly has you in urban or suburban areas, so you have plenty to explore and scavenge, which I actually enjoy. Looting is a major part of the gameplay mechanics, as you will need items in order to upgrade your weapons. There are also traders you can buy from, but you will go broke quickly if that's your only source of materials. I played on a PS5, and graphically, the game looks amazing, and I was impressed with the art direction and visuals. The zombie animations are great as they move and attack in their familiar tropes, while everything ran at a smooth 60 frames per second, except on one occasion. During one small cutscene with rocks falling during an earthquake, while everything in the scene was running at 60, there were falling rocks that looked like they were running at 30 or lower, which was very odd and took away from the action on the screen. Outside of that one moment, even with all the explosions and particle effects, the frame rate was solid and the resolution stayed sharp. Along with the environments, there's also a great variety of zombie models in the game. From Karens to soccer moms, food delivery drivers, to cholos and bodybuilders, nearly everyone can get it. You will see the repeated model, but there's a variety of models, and that makes for a difference while playing. My overall playtime lasted about 18 hours, and that is with doing some minor side quests and a moderate amount of exploration. I can see this game having dozens and dozens of hours in side quests and exploration alone. And that is before considering the cooperative mode, which I have yet to try. I do think that there's a lot of meat here, but only if you enjoy a semi-sandbox environment and a linear narrative and gameplay. Dead Island 2 had been in development in some form or another for nearly a decade upon its release. And now that it's out, the big question is, was it worth the wait? I believe that it's not 10 years in development good, as it didn't do anything different to tell a new story that we haven't seen, introduce new gameplay mechanics, or enhance our experience in any new ways, and that's okay with me. I never even played the original Dead Island to begin with, so I was never really waiting for this in any anticipation at all. So for me, how long it took to ship was besides the point. I was just interested in how it would play now that it's out, and I can say I am rather entertained. If you need a whole new experience we haven't seen yet, then I can understand having some disappointment. But if you just want another mechanically sound and fun game to destroy zombies in, then look no further. This game is tons of fun, and if you're looking for something fun, then this is it. I'm looking forward to getting some co-op play in and seeing how crazy it can get with one or two additional people thrown in the mix, as games like these are just begging to be played with someone else. So that's my opinion on Dead Island 2. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I really appreciate you watching. Feel free to leave a comment as to what your favorite zombie game of all time is. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.